And this is a new year for love in the future, not the
So I'm back with
love.
another video, mostly because I didn't have anything else to do today of much importance. But this topic that came to mind was of some importance, is of some importance. And I realized that when I was talking to a few friends of mine about our previous and current relationship statuses. I guess you can put it that way. Some of us are in relationships, some of us are not in relationships, some of us are in situationships. Those of us are not going to be named. However, I feel that these topics should be discussed among your friends too. So, like, rationalize with your friends and make sure you're like not crazy. Make sure you're all on the same page and you know what you're talking about. Because some people's demands are just really outrageous and you don't even know what you're asking for. It's crazy until somebody is like, hey, you're crazy. Don't ever do it again. So, if you wonder what topic it is, if you hadn't figured out by the title, are we friends, talking, or are we dating? Now, if you have to ask the latter, then that is a really big problem because you shouldn't have to ask, are we dating? Because you should know that you're dating. Because you should already have the Facebook status that says, I'm in a relationship with blah, blah, blah. And if you're not in a relationship with blah, blah, blah on Facebook, at least telling your family and or friends, then that's a problem if you have to ask, are we dating? Now, are we still dating? That's the better question. That's a more, yeah, understandable question to ask because you know some relationships they just seem to go on autopilot. You kind of forget. It's like, hey, I've been dealing with life. How are you? Are we still dating? Are we still together? Like, what's going on? But that's a whole other side topic. But I understand that. But start from the beginning. Friends. It seems simple, right? You know, you have your friends, your girlfriends, your guy friends, your friends that are confused as to what gender they are or what gender want to be, sex they want to associate themselves with. No judgment. No judgment. But I'm just saying you have those. You know, because I've known some people that were generally that way, and I'm like, hey, no, God bless you. Figure out who you are. That's your life journey that you have to deal with. But you know, you have those friends of the opposite sex, or some people the same sex, that you have a little more interest in, that kind of rub you in a different way than your other friends of the opposite or same sex do. And you may want a little more from them, or they may want a little more from you. Now, whether y'all are in agreement on that is the big deal. Because typically these days, nobody says anything. It's like hint, or I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to get my heart broke. And it's kind of like you can't rely on past events. Well, he hangs out with so and so, and then so and so was just like my ex's cousin, and if they're related, they're the same person damn near. So I don't think I can date this person. You can't compare people like that, okay? You cannot compare people like that. Now, this is not what this video is about, but that makes a point. Now, if it comes to a point where you have this friend of the same or opposite or not and but the same or opposite sex that you would like to be a little bit more than friends with, then you have the conversation. Now, how you go about that conversation, I'll say that for another video. Then you have what's in between friends and talking, is what a lot of us call, especially my generation calls, FWBs, friends with benefits. Those benefits shall not be named because we're all adults here. We should pretty much use our imagination and figuring out what that is. So, we have our friends with benefits. Here's the problem, especially if you're coming from friends to the friends with benefits status, and not just, hey, I met you, we talked for a few hours, I feel like you're a cool person, I really want to get in your pants, so how about we try this thing at the same time, this friends and benefits thing at the same time. That's a whole other stage. Now, whether you came from either one, is knowing each other beforehand and just meeting and then going into this friends with benefits stage, here's the problem. Here's where people get lost because there are no guidelines being set. You're going with the flow here. It's kind of like, I call you when I need you, but we hang out and do stuff too. But it kind of gets confusing what I'm calling you for. And then you have the issue of some people catching feelings and the other one's not. Somebody thinking that you're talking and you're not to the other person, or you really are talking, but the other person is in denial that y'all are talking because you have crossed into the stage of talking, which that is a whole other topic. What is the stage of talking? What do you consider the stage of talking? Is talking when you start caring for the person's well-being a little more than, hey, are you alive because I really want to have sex? Caring for them goes beyond that, then yeah. You might be entering that talking stage, but that's, like I said, it's the whole other topic I can relate for a whole other video if you want, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And so the friends with benefit stage, I think, is the most hazy, confusing. Well, I take that back. It's very hazy, but it's not the most. Talking stage is the most hazy and confusing because that is the stage where the rules are not set. Most often the rules are not set. The rules and guidelines are not set in the talking stage. Because you are talking, you're feeling each other out. Because a lot of people that go in the talking stage don't do the friends with benefit stage first. Like, these things not go in order. I'm listening in this order, but people not go through this in this order. So, people in the talking stage generally do not set guidelines and boundaries. I know it sounds kind of harsh to do this in the beginning, like, hey, yeah, I like you too, let's talk. Yes, I don't like rough sex. I don't like to be touched in public. Please don't ever call me after midnight. I don't like cats, dogs. You know, it sounds kind of rude, rough to just start. Don't just blurt it out, but do have a moment where y'all sit down and talk to each other, preferably in person, face to face. I know how hard it is in this generation. Do what you have to do, but you need to set these boundaries, and so you don't get your feelings hurt and get confused. A lot of people don't like to mention and admit that their feelings get hurt. Our feelings get hurt, and we get confused and we're mad, and we get mad at the world and other people that try to come along that didn't do nothing to you. These people didn't do anything to you. They come along after the fact because there was confusion between you and another person, and you got your feelings hurt, and they got upset. It's just this whole confusion stage. And then you have the dating stage. Again, set your boundaries in the dating stage. You really should set your boundaries. No looking at other females. No talking to other guys after 9 p.m. I'm not saying give them rules. You're not their parent or guardian. If you are, that is another issue that I'm not even going to deal with right now. But these are the things I would like for us to agree upon. Is how you start that off. These are the things I like for us to discuss and then eventually agree upon. And then have yours as well. Let's begin. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about what we are and we're not do with each other or with other people. Set. Discussions need to be had. Like in my previous video, I don't know how long ago I made it, almost a year ago. Communication is key. Y'all need to talk, people. How else are you going to know what's going on, what you do and you don't like if you don't say anything? Is it just my opinion? So, I'm just saying, if you set your rules and boundaries in the beginning and set it and discuss it in a way that they are remembered and there's no excuse to where we talked about in the beginning, well, I don't remember. Those time rules don't apply anymore. I'm not saying draw a contract or anything because at this decision I get married. But marriage is another important factor that you need to talk about. Like I said, there's time for holding a video for that. I was trying to cut this down to 6 minutes. It looks like it's going to hit 12. But point being made, you need to set guidelines and follow. Guidelines and what line? Where's the line that we don't cross for whatever stage we're in? What are the terms for this stage that we're in? Basically, what are the terms for this stage? So where's your boundaries? What you will and won't do, and what you expect to the other person to do and not to do. And what is your deal breaker? What is your absolutely, please don't ever in your life do this, or I will freaking lose my mind and hope to God I won't freaking go to jail for attempted murder or worse. These 3 things will help you. I'm not going to say you're going to save your relationship from the beginning, but they will help you have a smoother day. It's going to be rough because you're just going to have a little argument from these 3 things right here. You're going to have an argument, yes. You're going to have a disagreement. You're not going to like it because you're going to say something that the other person's not going to like. But if you stick through it, they'll show you something. So, you have those 3 things, and that is what you are to concern yourself with when you are dating. Like I said, talk to your partner or your person you're in a relationship with or in your situationship with. And if you don't have that person, or if you're not comfortable talking to them about that just yet, like fill it out, like brainstorm with your friends, like talk to your friends about it. What do you label as the friend zone? What do you label as we're talking? What do you label as we're just friends? What is a fuck buddy to you? What are these labels? I said at the beginning, you might not realize you're crazy until you hear something, like you let somebody else hear what you said, and you were like, wow, crazy. And they're like, yeah, you're crazy. Don't know. I suggest you not do that, or you won't ever get married before the age of 40. If that. You want to end up in that situation. I mean, some people do, but some people like me would like to get married and have my first child by 30, but I don't think it's going to happen. So if you have any questions about my hair, like the style of it, how I did it, I will try to remember to post the link in the video. In the description box below. Yes, my hair did go back black from the last video because it was red, and I had just dyed it red again in that video. I was supposed to make another video about it being redder, but I decided to go black with a little hint of red at the top. I remember I posted pictures at the back at the end of this video, but yeah. There's my rant for
I hate to see your heart